Hello everyone, my name is Oscar and I'm going to talk about my transfer plans for the double game week 24 and as well as answer your most frequently asked Twitter questions: what to do with Heung-min Son and should we be jumping on Burnley defenders. During this video I'm going to be utilizing some fantasy football scout members tools and they are going to help me decide what my best options are for this game week. Last time you saw me, I was doing fairly okay, but I have dropped since game week 20 when Son and Kane stopped performing. Kane got injured and it has gone quite poorly for me after that. And I have dropped to 263k in the overall rankings. I have the bench boost and the wildcard available. And the plan is to either wildcard in game week 25 and bench boost in game week 26, which is going to be a big double game week, but most likely I'm not going to do that. I'll likely transfer my way into a blank game week 29 team that is okay, and then wildcard my way out of that misery. And I think without the free hit chip, it's important to look at, are there any players that have a double game week in 26 as well as playing in the blank game week 29? And apparently Heung-min Son is one of those guys that might have that kind of setup. So if you, like me, are missing your free hit chip, then holding on to Sonny makes sense. That was an introduction for my team and some of the challenges that I face, and I will now be looking at the Rate My Team tool and see if there are any weaknesses in my team and are there any players in general who are supposed to perform well across all positions. And then I will be watch listing them and look at their stats in other tables later on in the video for a more in-depth research and analysis. By looking at the projected points, we can see that Chilwell really needs to go. He is not an FPL option anymore at this point in time, unfortunately, and I've been wanting to sell him ever since Tuchel was hired. I would usually look 4 weeks into the future when selecting a game week range, but this time we know that there will be a double game week in 26, which is very uncertain how that is going to shape up. So for this time, let's just sort on the game weeks we do know the fixtures of. So that's game week 24 and 25. Those are double game weeks and I'll focus on those two this time. We see that Pope here is on this list, but I do have a double game week goalkeeper in 25 in Leeds Melier already. And I also am not sure if I want to sell the GOAT, who is Martinez. So Pope, even though he is projected to score 4 more points this upcoming game week, that's to me what an FPL transfer is already worth, since if you take a hit, that is 4 points that costs you. So I see a transfer as 4 points. So it seems like an even Steven move. And I hope that we can find something that feels a little bit more upside than that. I like seeing Danny Ings up here. He is going under the radar a little bit, but we all know that he is class. We can also spot Ben Mee here, which I think is an interesting option for me since I am considering downgrading Chilwell. So I'll add Ben Mee to the watch list. We also have Digne here, who is a little bit of an FPL troll in my book, but he has a double game week and his crossing is very good. Plus, Everton is looking okay the last 2 games, and even though their goalies have been letting them down. I'm not really a fan of his price tag though. I'm going to have to bench him quite frequently. Having a 6 million cost player on the bench doesn't seem ideal, but at the same time, building a good bench isn't the worst idea since I'm looking to use a bench boost quite soon anyway. So let's add Digne to the watch list. Looking at this table, I don't feel like I can get a significant gain in points from anywhere except selling Chilwell for Digne or Ben Mee. So even though my plan was originally to make 2 transfers and attack the double game week, I think it might be better to just make 1 move and have more transfers and be better prepared for the game week 26, which looks like it's going to be a big double game week. So let's target that one much more aggressively, and that game week also has more exciting prospects who are getting to play twice. So that's my thought at the moment and from looking at this table. But I'm going to look into some other tools as well to confirm this. For me, it's important to use a couple of different stats tools when I make my decisions to get a better overview. So we are going to now watch what we can interpret from the fixture ticker tool, and we will sort by difficulty. I am first of all looking for a defender replacement. I'll take the defense option here, and we can see that Burnley is close to the top here, and Everton are also spotted reasonably high, so that bodes well since I am considering Digne and me. As you may know, you can create your own stats tables in Fantasy Football Scout, and I don't use my own very much. I think there are people who have better ones, but I have created one that I like, and I call it the Dangerous Defenders table. And I can see from there who has been the most involved attacking wise. So let's sort by last 5 weeks, and I'll go through all these stats quickly. So first big chances created, then Shaw is the highest, and after him it's the 2 West Ham defenders. So I guess that's why Sosek and Antonio are scoring all their goals. Next column is big chances, and there's nothing that stands out, but Tarkowski is getting more of these than Ben-Mee at the moment. So that's interesting when considering a Burnley defender. Dawson is also here, so he could be a cheap beast potentially. If we look at chances created, then Shaw is smashing the competition, and I would argue that his teammates can finish quite well. We have Cavani and Maguire who are good in the air, for instance, so Shaw is a set piece threat. Maguire scores highly in headed goal attempts, which isn't a surprise, and maybe Lascelles is going under the radar a little bit because he has also created 2 chances. I have penalty area touches as another metric I like to look at to see who gets into the penalty area a lot, and I think Alexander-Arnold confirms here a little bit that he has been slowly but steady climbing back to some of his usual heights lately, with a lot of good creation stats as well as taking a lot of shots. But clearly, Shaw is a great value pick as well. The question is he better than trying to fit a double game week player in? And I think I can argue that he is, because his stats are so good and is playing for a team that is doing great right now, and Shaw is very, very cheap. So I have to put him on the watch list as well. I have put Ben-Mee on my watch list already, but we saw that Tarkowski is a little bit more of an offensive threat, but it's just a matter of taste really. So I'll be talking about Burnley's defense as a whole instead. Burnley's defenders might not scream attacking returns, but Burnley as a defensive side is hard to look past. Considering the amount of doubles and the teams they are playing, it seems like a very good idea to own at least one defender. Next man I'll be talking about is Lucas Digne. Everton have possibly double game weeks in 24, 25 and 26, and they are all playing against teams like Fulham, West Bromwich, Southampton, etc. There might not be many clean sheets on the horizon for Digne, but his attacking stats are getting quite good. Looking at Mark Southern's forward-thinking defenders, you can see Digne around the top players at both successful crosses, final third touches, as well as unsuccessful crosses. We have Shaw as a watchlist player, but I think I have already seen enough of the stat tables to convince me that he will be a good asset. So instead, let's reset the projection tool to compare just 3 players and their projected points and all these defenders I've been looking at. And we can see that Digne scores the highest of these 3 in the Build My Team tool. We can see that you could go for Ben-Mee and then switch to Digne in 26, but that's not worth a free transfer in my book, so I'd rather just go for Digne straight away and bench him in his tough fixtures. And Shaw's fixtures are a bit tough. He is also a rotation risk and arguably injury prone, so that is worth taking into the account. Based on this, it looks like I'll be bringing in Digne into my team this week and save the second transfer and wait for better info on how the double game week 26 shapes up. And let's move the focus away from my team now and answer the question many of you have: what to do with Min Son. It's hard for me to evaluate Son's form by looking at recent stats because he lost Kane and he lost Mojo for a couple of weeks there. And as soon as Kane came back, Son was a lot more on it. So instead, I would be thinking of Son as a player I would be looking to get from game week 26 and onwards. So I wouldn't sell him, considering I would likely want him back in for game week 26. But there's no rush at all to get him in if you don't have him. And for instance, I'm likely to bench him myself this week. And on that topic about benching him, there's really no right or wrong decisions when benching a good player versus a great team. And they rarely have a lot of upside, as we saw with Salah versus City last time. He had one chance and he scored, and that was about as good as he could hope for. And it's hard to get mega hauls versus the bigger teams. And another thing is that I like to look at the bookie odds for a chance to get an assist or goal this week, and I calculate that by myself, and I've never seen Min Son this low. He's at a 33% chance for an FPL return according to the bookies. I'm going to wrap up this video here. Leave a like if you liked it, and if you want to interact with me, I'm most active on Twitter and I go by the username FPL Gents. Thanks for watching, and let me know in the comment section if you have any questions for me, and I'll be checking them out regularly until the game week deadline. Good luck this game week.